Hey, this is a video about Florida Bay. And notice we're not there. We're in a studio. But don't stress, I'm not gonna ask you to get up and go to look at Florida Bay. Too much cranial pressure. I brought Florida Bay to you. So what's the deal with Florida Bay? What's all the noise? See, I'm gonna tell you where it is. I'm gonna tell you where Florida Bay is. I'm gonna tell you how it used to be, prior to 1,000 new residents per day. I'm gonna tell you what's wrong with it and how you can help Florida Bay. So where is Florida Bay? You got the Everglades, you got the Florida Keys, and you got the coral reefs. Right here is the Florida Bay. You see, water flows from the Everglades into the Florida Bay, through the passes, through the Keys, and around into the coral reefs. Simple, right? Right? And how could something so simple get so screwed up? I'm gonna tell you. See, water flowed in sheet flow. You get that sheet flow, thin like your bed sheets. You groovesters probably don't use bed sheets. Okay, you got me? Thin layer of water for hundreds of miles, starting at the Kissimmee River. The river was a 100-mile-long snaking river that flowed through wetlands. See, that was most excellent because wetlands clean water like a huge strainer, dude. Fresh water flowed from the Kissimmee River down into Lake O, down in that sheet flow and into the Everglades and down into the Florida Bay. And so, Florida Bay is an estuary. That's where fresh water from the land and salt water from the sea mix together. Are you grooving on this? And so salinity, that's like salt and minerals in the water, dude. And the salinity changed from rainy and dry seasons. But you know, that was shoiken, like cool, because all things that were natural, like plants and animals, were cool to those conditions. So what's so killer about Florida Bay? See, lots of fish, lobster, shrimp, and a ton of stuff born in the bay go through puberty and hang out around the Keys. But not in tiki bars, out at the reefs. The seagrasses and mangroves give these creatures food, kind of like Cocoa Pebbles. Not. Florida Bay is a nursery, a breeding ground. It gives shelter, a pad, and filters out nasty stuff and traps sediments. And it's part of an ecosystem. It was healthy, functioning part of the ecosystem made of what they call interdependent habitats. You know, coral reefs need seagrasses, seagrasses need mangroves. You've heard that whole rap. Well, Florida Bay is not healthy anymore. Okay, now what has happened in the last 60 to 70 years? Buku people have happened, right? And what do people need? Water. And people have this thing about not having water come up past their big toe. So instead of building where it's not naturally a wetland, they try to change a wetland into a dryland. So they straightened the Kissimmee River and made it a canal. And they built 1,400 more miles of canals. Even before that, they built highway transecting South Florida, totally wasting the sheet flow. Bottom line, 90% of the fresh water that used to go into Florida Bay goes somewhere else. Seriously, total dehydration for Florida Bay, man. So, you take this estuary and start reducing the amount of fresh water that goes into it. What do you think happened to the salinity? I have to say, this is just not working out. Mangroves are croaking. Try 100,000 acres of seagrass have died. That's the same as 100,000 football fields. Radically uncool. The mangroves and seagrasses are rotting and decaying, dude. All this die-off means totally high nutrients. That's like nitrogen and phosphorus. Not cool for life forms other than algae. And we got huge algae blooms. Seriously green. The algae blocks the light to the seagrass, so more of them die off. Do you get the vicious cycle here? Algae clogs up sponges, so they start kicking off. And what happens next? Anything with a wing a fin or a claw cruises, drops in, and surfs on out. So, do you want your lobster dinner flown in from Micronesia, dude? So let's review. When you're talking about ecosystems, systems mean different components, right? The keys are basically an ecosystem made up of seagrasses, mangroves, and coral reefs. Hey, coral reefs! We almost forgot the main attraction. Hey, pop quiz. What do coral reefs need to survive? Try low nutrients, lots of oxygen, lots of light, and salinity, ocean style. Not too high, but not too low. What's the water like in Florida Bay? Try high in nutrients, low in oxygen, low in light, and high in salinity. And where do you suppose the mess in the Florida Bay goes? You guessed it, coral reefs. And see, that's just totally uncool, because besides the fact that our coral reef is the only living coral reef system in North America and is a crib for hundreds of species, the coral reef is also like the marine equivalent of the tropical rainforest. The coral reef ecosystem is so special, they even made a national marine sanctuary. There are drugs, good drugs, that come from the coral reefs that fight cancer, stomach ulcers, leukemia, heart disease, and even the common cold. Achoo! And that's way, way cool. Most excellent, groovy, schweiken, killer, shui, far out, tubular, righteous. Okay, chill out. So, groupsters, the bottom line is Florida Bay is in trouble. And it's not just Florida Bay, and it's not just the coral reefs. All these habitats are interrelated. Can you relate? What happens in the Kissimmee River or the Everglades affects what happens in the bay, and that affects the entire coral reef ecosystem. If there's no fresh water, there's no seagrass, no conchs, no sponges, no mangroves, no coral reefs, no fish, no lobster, no birds, no sports fishing, no backcountry charters, no diving, no restaurants, no hotels, no putt-putt golf, just algae. Okay, I'm stressing, and I don't do stress. So find out what you can do to save Florida Bay and North America's only coral reef ecosystem. Got a pen? Got a piece of paper? Got a brain? You can spell. Write a letter. Tell your friends. Educate your parents. Talk to your Wilbur Kookmeyer little brother. I know, like, totally not it, but do it for the Bay, man. Educate the Googans from Idaho with flower shirts. Gouganvillea. Ask questions and let the people in charge of this stuff know how you feel. You can make a difference. You can make a difference. You can make a difference.